Yeah. My thought was more of I was kind of thinking back to one of the comments that I saw. Somebody said something about having difficulties with
Compassion.
compassion
Mm-hmm.
because their wounds have been like self-inflicted. Yeah, I have a hard
Mm.
time with that when the wounds are self-inflicted. I can completely understand
Talk
that,
to
and
him,
I,
Nelson.
I think a lot of people
Talk to him.
have difficulty with this piece in particular because we have that like either or thinking. So when we're either really down on ourselves and think that we're just no good and we're worthless, but
Mm-hmm.
can quickly stay away from patting ourselves on the back or lifting ourselves up because we view it as arrogant and we view it as being egotistical, so we never want to be too high on ourselves. That's a very it's actually a very Christian like teaching, kind of like, well, distortion of church like thinking.
Yes.
um but
To be humble.
definitely, I you know I try to help people like gain empathy and gain compassion by just doing something nice for somebody else, and then sitting back later on and like reflecting on what it meant for you to do that, how you felt when you did it, and like literally sitting and thinking like, what was my motivation for doing that? Because you'll start to see some of it. All of us have like darkness in our hearts. Like we are very self-serving a lot of times, and
Mm-hmm.
getting to the place where you can show like true compassion and true empathy. I think the people that are really reflective on that and they actually practice like doing things just because, not seeking any kind of recognition, not not doing it so that I can feel like I'm not as bad a person as I think I am, literally checking all of your motives and then acting off of that. I think that's hard, that starts to build up that sense of compassion, and then it actually helps with your self-esteem, because then you just start to feel yourself being like in tune with other people, like a closer relationship with people, not because of what you're doing, but just because this is the person that I want to be. I want to be the type of person that
Mm-hmm.
will just give, whether it's money, whether it's your time, whether it's kind words. Like, if
I
we
love
need a whole lot more of that. I said earlier that I felt like the YouTube community has very much a sense of apathy. Like, so we need the exact opposite. We need that compassion. We need that empathy, and really try not to beat yourself up too much. I know we can do that on anything. We can think that we fail at one thing and start to beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
And well, overall, I definitely think if it's coming from a place of hurt, if you really feel like you're just worthless and you can't do anything right, a lot of times people will start to punish themselves. Like, I had somebody not too long ago. We found out that she would literally, if she messed up on something, if she forgot to do something, she would unconsciously punish herself by staying in bed for the rest of the day, and forcing herself to reflect on
Mm-hmm.
everything wrong she did throughout the week. And it wasn't until she heard the words from someone else's mouth saying, "This is what you're doing," made a light bulb go off to say, "Wait a minute, like, there's just something that's inherently wrong with that. Let me try another way." So yeah.
I love it, Nelson. So everything he said, guys, you need to just take notes on that or rewatch this video because that was excellent what he just says. I'm just gonna see if I can just put a cherry on top. When you're practicing compassion, the first person to practice compassion with is yourself. We call it self-compassion. It's a form of self-love. And one of the ways of doing that is through meditation, is through prayer. But that's why I said so much about the community. Quit trying to play this game in life by yourself. Because when you're part of the right community, they're going to support you. They're going to encourage you. They're going to help you forgive yourself. They're going to help you love yourself. They're going to help you get things done. They're going to help hold you accountable. There's going to be people in that community that you're going to connect with better than other places. You need a social group that cares about you, that even believes in you. So sometimes you can believe in their belief in you for you to have more things out. Other people gonna love you and love on you better than you can love on yourself, and they can teach you how to love yourself better. But if you're trying to do this thing by yourself, respectfully, you already lost the game, because you got too much coming at you. You got the media coming at you, social media, the news, all this other stuff bombarding you every single freaking day. And you think you can handle all that? You ain't built to fight the whole world. That's why you need a team. And your team is in the form of a community. Mm-hmm. And that's where you're going to get your compassion from. And nothing, he said something earlier, I wish he would have went a little bit deeper on it, but there's this book right here, one of the best books I ever read a couple of years ago, called Built to Serve. We're built to serve. Mm-hmm. When you serve other people, it's hard to be selfish. When you serve other people, it's hard to be depressed. When you serve other people, it's hard not to have meaning and purpose in life, because you're making a difference. We are born, we have a threefold purpose on this earth. One is to serve, to share, and to support, and also to solve problems. Because you've been given talents, gifts, and abilities. Why? So you can solve problems out here. If you do it for business, you solve business, nothing but solving problems for a profit. But you're here to make a difference because somebody made a difference in your life. And again, like I said, because we live in a narcissistic society, all about me. And over here, we preach and teach we. We take me and flip it upside down, the M to a W. And when it's all about me, of course you're gonna lose out. But when it's about we, then you're gonna do more for others than you do for yourself. That's why it's important to be a part of a community. I know people are all about, being individualistic, and our society teaches that. But when you travel the world and you start seeing how other people live around the world, they put family and God first. Mm-hmm. It's not about me. It's cultures like this that's all about the greed and all about the selfishness and the narcissistic, and that doesn't end up good. I know that's not a very popular thing to say, but look at the results. The results don't lie.
Thank you for the clarity. I was referring to showing compassion to others who cause their own pain. I completely get that. And that's definitely a difficult thing to do. That's actually you got to get deeper into a relationship with somebody to even uncover the roots of why they're causing their own pain.
But Nelson, that's why your work is so important, because you get to help them heal. You get to help them. You really get to save people's lives. And when people are going through a process of healing, part of that process is helping other people and giving to other people. I'm still kind of stuck back on what Nelson does for a living, and because I think so many people right now, I see so much pain, I see so much hurt out there, I see so much trauma, and of course, the networks and TV, they'll make money off your pain.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like the drug dealer, they don't care about you. They'll make money off your illness, and you see all these different shows, all the reality shows, they're just making money off that. But again, because they know those people, they want that attention, they want that fame, they got the HPD, where we talked about earlier about the histrionic personality disorder. They got the NPD, the narcissistic personality disorder, and they say, and they like a moth to a flame, and they're gonna make money off your name. So my thing is, I see a lot of pain, and we're doing the kind of work to try to make a difference. It's not always mainstream and popular, but wait till they get in trouble. That's what they're going to run to, But when I see people like Nelson doing the kind of work he's doing, I salute you. My hat's off to you, because I think this is what the world needs right now. They need more people like Nelson, because we know there's people out there who are making money and they doing all kind of crazy stuff. Even, again, I'm more focused on, we see the celebrities because they're the highlights, but even just the regular people, man, they need so much help, because when you destroy your relationships, I don't know how you can ever be happy in life, because relationships are everything. Relationship is life itself.
I always say that my job or my profession shouldn't even exist. I'm into church, and that's why I believe in God and of the faith. I always say that counselors have taken the role of what the church was supposed to be.
Ooh.
Literally, the only thing that I do is walk alongside somebody in their pain. That's all. Really, that's all I do. You can know every counseling technique in the world. It's not going to do anything if you don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
Like to know that somebody is right there with you,
You
to
hold
know
on.
that you're carrying that person's burdens with them.
Mhm.
Like 80% of the healing comes from that alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is what the church should have been. So everybody really should be should be a counselor, or at least have those types of mindsets that I just want to walk alongside somebody.
Yeah. Well, because again, I mean, like what I said earlier, we have a threefold purpose, and you can do that by serving. You can do that by supporting other people. You can do that by sharing your talents, gifts, and abilities. I mean, you're put here for a reason. There's a reason that we're born at this specific time in human history in America. We could have been born somewhere else doing something else. We could have been born back in the 1600s, 1400s. You know, there's a reason why. Then we have to discover what is our purpose and why did he put me on this earth at this specific time in human history. Then what are my talents, gifts, and abilities, and what am I supposed to use those for? And we see a lot of people use it sometimes because they don't know their purpose. They're using their talents, gifts, and abilities for destruction. They're using it to hurt people instead of heal people. They're doing it for all these different reasons. And I know, I get it. I know the YouTube algorithms and stuff. People are like, oh, controversy sells. You know, we get that. You know, the news, you know, if it leads, it bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads. Why would they do it? We know that. But then for us, why are we here? Are we here to do that? Or are we here to help? Are we here to hurt or here to help? And that's why you have to make choices on the energy that you choose to be around and the channels. Like I think you mentioned that earlier, Gail. You can choose what YouTube channels you click on. Just like the radio station, you can choose what music you listen to. Does that music hype you up and get you going, or does it make you feel, you know? I mean, as fine as Sade is, that music doesn't get you going. No, I don't want that at me. I just said there's certain song, there's certain music that has a certain energy in it and makes you feel in a way.
I said earlier.
You know, and do you have to say what mood do I want to be in? Do I want to be in a depressed mood? Okay, whatever. Because of the work that I do, I can't afford that. I have to be very strict on what I take in. I have to be very strict on the energy because I have to give out so much. You know.
Luke Hazley has a question for you, Nelson. She asks, how do you deal with the amount of pressure you get from listening to all those problems? Do you have
that's why I could not be a therapist. That's a good question.
that is a really good question. So
I couldn't be a therapist.
So I will be as transparent as I can in this space. When I first became a counselor, that was a serious problem because every horrific story imaginable you hear, and these people are coming to you asking for help. So when I first started counseling and I started getting a larger load of clients, I really struggled with that. I was going home thinking about everything that I just heard, thinking about ways that I can help, wanting to be their savior sometimes. And it got to the point where, drinking got, I would need to drink to be able to fall asleep. I would get into really bad eating habits because I'm seeking any source of pleasure or anything that looks like a comfort during that time to help me manage enough to be able to go in and give my all to that person. And it really took I want to say probably the birth of my son really to get me to see this can't be all about me, because this, now that I'm coming home, this child that I have needs that same exact energy, needs that same exact love and attention. So I had to become really intentional about what I was doing for myself. So that meant it's called self-care. So making sure that I'm on a really good exercise routine. I had to, like Zan said, I had to make sure that I did a purge of YouTube, of anything that was that was negative, anything that was like gossipy, anything like that, I had to take that out of what I was receiving. I started praying a lot more. I started actually sitting and just enjoying my wife and my kids more. I will go and just play around with my kids. Like, I'll force myself to do things that I enjoy and be disciplined in doing that. And that's what helped me, quit with the drink. And I was never, an addict anyway. So starting and stopping drinking was never an issue. So, but that kept me from going into the drinking. It kept me from going into like smoking or doing anything else. It's self-care and discipline.
Can I add something to that? Even though I know the question was for me, but I think it's still going to serve somebody out there. I know coaches don't like me saying this, but I say it anyways. I say this publicly, and no shame in it at all. Every coach needs a coach, and I tell the people, if your coach doesn't have a coach, fire him, because this work is so heavy what we do. And I believe every therapist probably need a therapist, or if you don't need a therapist, you need a group that you can talk trade with and bounce things off of, because sometimes we go to our spouse or to our significant other, and they're not qualified to support us in that kind of way. We need other people who are in these trenches with us that understand what we go through to really get it. So right now I have 4 coaches. Now that's a little bit more. I don't recommend. That's just because I'm trying to speed things up in my life and in my goals. But at least have one coach. And if a coach doesn't have a coach, because this is not sustainable. This is a lot of work. And here's the reason why. Energy creates energy. None of us are exempt from that. Energy affects energy. And people make people and people break people. This is why the community is so important. And you got to have other people that, who do you go to? You're giving so much to everybody else. Who feeds you? Who do you go to? That's why it's so important for us to have, as professionals, to have other professionals in our life. They keep us together. And even for myself, on Sundays, I cut off my cell phone, my computer. I don't talk to nobody on Sunday because I need to rejuvenate. I need to have a day away from people.
Right.
People. And then there's certain days of the week I take off just so that I am together. I'll give you another quick example. In my mornings, I call it my hour of power. You should have a morning routine, a morning ritual that you follow. The first hour of every single morning, no one can contact me. That's just me and my time alone. In fact, really, my morning is dedicated to me because I do my reading, I do my writing. Every single morning I read, I write, I do my meditation, my visualization, and things such as that. Because this type of work, people like Nelson and I, we're not living for ourselves. We're living for you guys. We're here to serve. When I was a celebrity DJ and touring the world, it was for me, making people happy, hanging out. That was for me. When I decided to follow my calling and do this work, it's so heavy, it's so much responsibility, but you have to prepare yourself and have a foundation and a set of fundamentals that you follow on a regular basis so that you don't get caught up in the work, because you can, it can get to you if you don't have your standards, have your boundaries in place.
Right.
And Nelson know what I'm talking about. Listen, people like us only could talk this way if we really doing the work. Not theory. This is practice. We live this stuff, man. With social media, I think social media capitalizes on all the stuff we just talked about, because you can get more attention now than ever before. You can be something else. You can be anonymous and be quote unquote antisocial. You can do all kind of stuff with social media. And social media, again, I think it's just a tool that you can use to your advantage, but also it just tells you it's a reflection of the people, because social media to me is not good or bad in itself, but it's a reflection on how the people use it. Just like a cell phone, people have a cell phone. A cell phone is a wonderful thing, but if you're driving and you're on the phone or even a car, we just have tools out here, but how a person uses that tool is a reflection of them, because social media is a wonderful thing. I think it's a one, but because we have so much negativity and so much negative energy in our society, you see it used. People use it and abuse it. They use it to abuse others.
Right, and like we said before, that drama and that kind of content draws more views. This is Gail at Night. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for supporting. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and set the bell to all.